Hi, best friends. I'm Tabby.
And I'm Caitlin, and today we are discussing Mate by Ali Hazelwood.
Long awaited.
It's been a good couple of years for Ali. She's cranking stuff out. We're loving it.
2026 actually is the year of Allie for this
Yeah.
podcast. For those of you who haven't listened this year, we're doing a few books by her.
And we've done a few previously that you should go check out if you like her books. Before we get started today, I feel like it's been a while since we chatted about how we handle spoilers in this podcast. So, obviously, whatever book we are actively discussing, there's going to be lots of spoilers for that book in the episode because that's the point of the show. But sometimes there are potential minor spoilers for books and movies that are not the main book being discussed in the episode. Those will always be disclosed in the episode description. So always check the episode description to make sure if there's any spoilers that you don't want to hear about, that you're checking those. Also, as a general rule, if we are going to have a minor spoiler for a book that's not part of the main episode, it's usually one that we've already talked about previously on the show.
Right.
So I can't think of an example where we've talked about a book that we haven't discussed previously. If there is one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, or if we have talked about a book, we don't give any major plot points to it. I feel like we're pretty good about saying that this is a spoiler if you haven't read it.
And regarding possible movie spoilers, again, sometimes there are episodes where the whole point is we're talking about a movie, like a movie adaptation or a TV show adaptation of a book. So obviously those will be spoiled in the episode. Again, minor spoilers for movies that are not being or that are not the main focus will be in the episode description. But sometimes we may be a little less careful on accident, I guess, when it comes to like super widely known films that are like huge in pop culture. Like, for example, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
If you haven't seen it at this point, like
we're just assuming you're not going to watch it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So just this is your annual reminder, I'll say. Oh, actually, I don't know that we've done a reminder since we started doing this podcast. So
this is like your 5-year reminder that
yeah, we got a little worried that maybe we could have some new listeners who don't know to check the episode description for potential spoilers. So please always read those before listening to the episode.
Yeah, good rule of thumb is if you haven't read the book, maybe don't listen to that episode.
100%, because that whatever book we're talking about will be spoiled.
I'm gonna spoil it.
Rotten. It's gonna get so spoiled. Okay, so that being said, we'll jump right into the Goodreads rating and back of the book for Mate. For those of you who don't know, Mate is the sequel to Bride by Ali Hazelwood. So if you haven't read Bride, stop now because we're going to talk about Bride in this episode as well. So this book has 4.05 stars on Goodreads, which I feel like is pretty good. And I will say it was enjoyable. Yeah. So the back of the book says, Serena Paris is orphaned, packless, and one of a kind. Coming forward as the first human-were hybrid was supposed to heal a centuries-long rift between species. Instead, it made her a target, prey to the ruthless political machinations between wares, vampires, and humans. With her enemies closing in on her, she has only one option left, if he'll have her. As alpha of the Northwest Pack, Cohen Alexander commands obedience. His authority is so absolute, only a fool would threaten his mate. It doesn't matter if Serena doesn't reciprocate his feelings, nothing will stop him from keeping her safe. But power-hungry vampires and wares are not the only threats chasing Serena. Sooner or later, her past is bound to catch up with her, and Cohen might be the only thing standing between her and total annihilation. I will say, this description kind of makes it sound like he was accepting her as his mate from the get-go, which is not the case.
Was not.
No, he was and he explains later why he was putting distance between them, but he certainly was not encouraging it from the get-go. So that's interesting.
I hate it when the back of the book doesn't really match what actually happened in the book. I feel like a lot of times they write the back of the book prior to finishing the book, and they're like, "This is what's gonna happen," and then they have a change of heart halfway through, and their editor's like, "No, you gotta scrap this," but they never change the back of the book.
Yeah.
But they just roll with it, and that gets published.
I have noticed that, like, because we read the back of the book for like every episode, there's a lot of instances where we're kind of questioning the fact that it doesn't line up. So interesting. You must be right. They must write those like so early that they just don't get changed. What would you rate Mate by Ali Hazelwood?
So I gave it like an 8.4 out of 10. It was good, and I love everything Ali Hazelwood's done. But again, she is the queen of like sometimes long-winded books, or like she doesn't quite get to the point quick enough. She loves flashbacks, and I'm like, okay. And I feel like in this book, she just really wanted to write one chapter like really bad. Like really, really bad, and to the point where she wrote a whole book surrounding that chapter. And we didn't need all of it. Could have been shorter. Could have been bonus content.
Yeah, for like the first book in the series or something, be like, oh, and here's these other characters. I did like rate it a little higher than you because, okay, here's my thoughts. I rated it an 8.75 out of 10 because when I first read this book, I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads because I had such a fun time. I
Yeah,
was so entertained and like amused and delighted that I rated it super highly. But then because I read it so long ago, I actually had to go back and reread it for the sake of this podcast. And I discovered it has like no rereadability for me. And so for that reason, I was like, I feel like I can't give this like a perfect rating because in my mind, like there are so many books that I loved and I would read like over and over again. And
right.
this just probably isn't one of them. Although I did really like it. It's just a bit long, no huge like exciting plot going on.
Plot
Like
wasn't really that crazy.
it wasn't. It was interesting enough to get you from
Yeah.
point A to point B. But would I want to
Like I feel
reread
like she
it?
really had
No.
to dig deep to make it like relevant.
Yeah, to like flesh it out into a full-length novel.
Yeah.
She did some crazy
She
stuff.
did some voodoo on that one.
Yeah, but I still support her in everything that she writes. Agreed then. I think we're kind of on the same page with ratings. Let's talk about the characters. I feel like there's not very many because the character development is like not strong in this particular novel.
It's not quite there.
It's not. But again, every criticism that I'm coming at this book with, know that I rated it 5 stars after I read it the first time. So what does that tell you?
I read this for the vibes only.
It is a great vibes book for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Serena. She is a human were hybrid, as we talked about when we read the back of the book. So she is one of two in existence. It's her, and then if you recall from the first book, Bride, Lo's little sister, Anna, is also a human were hybrid. So she is one of two. It's kind of a crazy thing to be because like the relationships between all of the species are like so tedious. So that's kind of what like sets up the plot for this one. I did like her inner monologue like as a character, but I feel like that's
Yeah.
classic Ali Hazelwood female main character. They're going to be funny.
I did, but I didn't like her inner monologue actually.
Oh, that's fair. What didn't you like about her inner monologue? Or is it anything specific or just vibes?
Like, no. It was funny. Like, and like the times where she was being funny was great and I loved it. But like the other times when she was just being so like blasé about,
Oh, depressy.
yeah, I don't know. I was just like, okay, that's fine, I guess.
She's a very negative Nelly.
Yeah.
But she thought she was dying. And one thing that pissed me off is she thought she was dying and she just wasn't going to tell her best friend, who's actually more like her sister because they were raised together. She was just going to keep
Yeah.
it from Misery. And not only did I think that was just selfish for the sake of not telling the closest person to you, I also thought like it was crazy because again, she's one of two human were hybrids and she thought that the disease that she had was because of her condition. And just
So why would you not
why would you
tell
not
the
bring it up?
only other hybrid?
Right? Because, like, if, if Anna's gonna grow up to be Serena's age and then have the same thing happen, wouldn't they wanna, like, work on a cure or something? So it was just like, why would you not tell people? Like, this is just so selfish to me. It pissed me off. Didn't like that.
Well, it's like Anna's just a little girl too, and it's like she's gonna like have this happen to her one day, and gonna be like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had someone to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
Anna doesn't deserve that.
She needed therapy real bad.
Also, like, yeah, what's she being a martyr for? Like,
No reason.
she's like, my death is going to be meaningless and no one's going to care except for Misery. And even she won't care because she has a brand new family. It's probably because she was an orphan, actually. But
Yeah, no, there's definitely some deep-rooted shit going on.
no, actually, though, it's because she was an orphan. But
But yeah, it's just like it was pretty bleak. It was a bleak way to look at
it
the
was
world. I think
bleak.
what made it worse too is that Cohen reveals like pretty early on, like, oh yeah, you're my mate, but he like downplays it and he's like, it just means that I like want to fuck you, but I don't care about you at all.
She's like, good, you shouldn't.
But yeah, I think if he had actually been like, yeah, it means you're the most important thing in the world to me, like maybe this book would have gone a different direction.
Maybe.
Maybe we should all just speak our minds.
It was so funny, like, anytime, like, there was, like, some worldly pleasure that came across her, she like, someone would be making food, and she'd be like, "Oh man, I wish I could enjoy food for the next few years, like, too bad I'm gonna die next week."
You know what though? But I'm kind of thinking if someone gave me like 6 months to live,
That's true.
I might also act like that. And she's not saying it out loud to people.
No, she's not. It's just, like, as us looking in, I was like, "That's, like, crazy."
Yeah.
It's
No, I
crazy.
agree.
But also, yeah, you're right, I would be the same way, I think. You know, as I, like, am saying all this stuff, like, about, like, it could have been a novella. It's like she literally wrote those feminist novellas and packed more story into those than she did in this 400-page book. Like, she did I remembered that. Like, she did really good novellas.
Yeah. Her novellas are very good at world building.
Arguably better than some of her actual books.
Yeah, the one that's only an audiobook right now currently, Bound, and we're not gonna spoil this one because we haven't talked about it on the podcast, so don't worry, no spoilers here. That one has significant world building because of,
Yeah.
like, the nature of the story, but I think the audiobook is only, like it's, like, less than 6 hours, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, so in print, it would be a novella.
Same thing with, like, Two Can Play.
Yes, yes, there's a huge backstory on that one as well, and we're gonna be talking about Who Can Play later this year.
No, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, what was going on with this? Anyway,
This was a passion project.
let's talk about Cohen.
Cohen, again, not my favorite main male character of hers.
He was there, Mia.
Yeah, I mean, he existed for the sake of the plot.
I just don't like I know this is like the whole werewolf thing, like the alpha male, blah blah blah. But like he took it too far.
Yeah.
He took it too far and like feelings were hurt.
Well, I think it's because their pack in general is just, like, really toxic.
They are.
And obviously there's a backstory for that as well. There's an explanation for that, but their pack is just very toxic, and they say that their alphas like can't have a family, they can't have like children because there's nothing can be more important than the pack.
Right.
So that's insane, obviously. So he's fucked up. Also, when we think about like his lore, like his mother was killed by Constantine when he was 15. So he became like in charge at 15 years old, had to kill Constantine and Fiona, his like lover, and then like carry their small child out of the room where he killed them. So it was pretty traumatizing.
Yeah.
I think that explains why he's like an asshole.
Do you think I can't remember. Did he kind of know, like, because they had that whole like prologue, right?
Mhm.
Where he like finds her and stuff in the woods and is like carrying her back. But like, do you feel like he knew like she was his mate like then?
I'm assuming it's not until later. And the reason that am saying that is actually not, I don't think this book explicitly says,
I wonder if
but
it's based on like puberty.
yeah, every like Omegaverse fic that I've ever read, it's basically like a puberty. So
Yeah,
they
okay.
reach like usually it's like age 18,
Yeah,
and then they present their second gender. So sometimes you don't even know if you're an alpha, omega, or whatever until you literally turn that age, and then you like assume that like second gender identity. And then at that point, you could mate to someone.
okay.
So I think it is age based.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure.
If she's abiding by traditional Omegaverse law.
It just felt like she was really like alluding to that in the
Yeah,
prologue
I did definitely feel like their fates were like
and
connected by whatever like
intertwined. Yeah,
supernatural thing is putting them together. But I don't think that they would have recognized anything.
sure. No, that's fair. I will say, like, if Cohen knew I was getting ready to go into a heat and like he still talked to me so shitty, like he did to Serena, like my feelings would be very hurt.
Yeah, because if you think like a heat is just like a period, but like on steroids, perhaps the emotions have to be so sensitive during that
Yeah.
time.
And it's worse than like a period on steroids. Like it's like insanity. And he knew that. And like he was
Yeah,
still so mean to her.
I know. Like he is a bully,
It's
actually.
mean. I didn't like him. He was
I'm
fine.
not a big fan.
I liked Lo way better.
Lo can do no wrong. Lo is sweet baby boy.
He is.
Love
And
him.
uh he needs to be protected. And it's crazy because Cohen was like his father figure. And he turned out really well. All things considered.
Maybe having a little sister like softened him a lot, but
True.
yeah,
That's
it's
true.
Lo is like so much kinder. And if I had a mate between the two, I'd want it to be Lo.
I choose Lo every time. Let's talk about Cohen's seconds, Amanda, Saul, and Jorma. Um, they were also fine.
They were fine. They added like an entertainment factor, like some banter, fun personality, but their characters literally just existed to fill out the story so that whenever Cohen and Serena weren't directly interacting, there was something going on. And a lot of their dialogue was like for filling in gaps and moving things along. Like
Yeah,
it just, this story's plot is just weak. So their characters were
yeah.
weak because they weren't really serving a purpose. But that's okay.
They all, yeah, just kind of struck me as like dumb. Like they were dumb people. Like the whole like werewolves on the moon thing, like about lost me. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I didn't think that was
sure.
funny. Yeah, sometimes, okay, one thing about Ali Hazelwood's sense of humor is like sometimes it misses me
Sometimes it
personally
does miss.
by a long shot, and that's okay. I think there's just like an age gap enough that it just some of it misses, and that's all
It was
right.
on like the different side of millennial humor that I'm not resonating with.
Because Tab and I are kind of like right in between like millennial and Gen Z. Like we don't really fit into either category fully. So we have like aspects of both that are building our sense of humor. So yeah, like
It's an odd sense of humor. So it's like no one's fault. It's just us,
it's
but
just
like
us. It's just our little like on the brink. What do they call us?
on
Zillennial.
the cusp. Yeah,
On the cusp.
zillennial.
Yeah.
We're millennial sun and like Gen Z rising or something. I don't
Yes.
know. I don't
Yeah.
fucking read my zodiac, but
Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah. Somebody do our birth charts.
it's that. I've done mine. I just don't remember what it is.
Same.
Anyway.
Actually. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about like the cult aspect because I think that was one of the most interesting
Yeah.
parts of this book. But again, it did not serve a huge purpose. But Constantine and Fiona, they were like the leaders of this offshoot, this cult. Well, Constantine, Fiona
Yeah, I'll say
followed
Fiona
him.
was like a human
A
slave.
victim. So Constantine and Fiona are Serena's parents. She does not know this until later in life, like when she's an adult. They were shitty. Like she was in a horrible situation where they just like took her and they had nothing, and she was like being neglected and
Yeah.
subjected to violence, and it was horrible, actually.
No, like, it's good thing that they were killed probably, but, like, it probably like, tragic for her.
Tragic for her, for sure. It did fuck her up a lot. I don't really know what the best thing for her would have been, like,
Yeah.
continuing to have
'Cause
parents.
it's, like, her life as, like, the human companion or
What did they
whatever,
call
like,
that?
I think she's just called a companion.
Oh, yeah, because Misery was the one that was collateral, but she
Yeah.
was just keeping Misery company. Oh, Misery loves company.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I think she did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it's like that also probably sucked. Like she was literally just plucked out of the orphanage and is like, "Hey, you're gonna be this girl's friend now, okay?"
That's funnier than
And she's
a
like,
lot of the
"Yeah,
stuff she
I
wrote.
actually don't even know like what my name is, so sure."
Yeah.
Like, I have no recollection of my
I have
childhood.
just
Take me wherever
the
you want to.
foggiest memory of my parents being stabbed to death and then being carried out by a nice boy.
But whatever, you know? Like, sign me up.
That's fucked up. Yeah. So it's rough. Constantine is truly the villain, though. Fiona was also a victim. He manipulated her. And so
That's how
don't want to
cults
taint
are,
her
you know?
memory too
Like,
bad. Exactly. Like, yeah, she got for sure. And then Irene is Constantine's sister and their surviving like cult leader and the reason that Serena is being like tracked down. I don't know, like, obviously, like, how bad she is in comparison to Constantine, because I feel like we don't have enough details about him, but we can definitively say that she's horrible.
he's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just using Serena constantly and, like, holding stuff over her and, like, manipulative. She's very
Yeah.
manipulative.
And she was gonna, like, breed her.
Yeah, no, and she's also, like, a fucking freak and, like, derogatory when I say that, like,
Yeah.
a weirdo.
Not
Like, her and her, like,
complimentary.
little sex slaves that she has under a spell, like,
Mhm.
lining up at Serena's door, like, that's gross.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. So, like, potentially worse than Constantine, but who knows?
That whole, like, couple chapters where she's, like, locked in her fucking dungeon, like, it was giving, like, trafficking vibes, like, I don't know.
It was scary. I was scared for her, but I was like, I don't think Irene would, like, kill her, so I think, like,
I
her
don't
life is safe
know.
right now, but I don't know either. She was obviously unstable. That was
She's
crazy,
scary.
though.
And the poor Nell, like, she is a sweet girly, and, like, I'm glad she got out, but
Me too. I think Nell so just a reminder, Nell is the young human girl. She's 16 right now in this point in the story that they rescued from Irene's cult, and I thought, like, she could potentially be a
or
good.
is it Neely? I can't remember, it might be Neely.
I didn't listen to the audiobook, so I don't know. In my
I
mind,
did, but I don't remember how they
I think I pronounced it as Nell. It's spelled Nele.
I think
So,
it's Neely.
I believe you. I
I
didn't
can't
listen
remember,
to
I'll
the
have to
audio.
go back and reread it. It's been a little bit since I listened to the book.
So, Nell/Neely, I feel like would be a good, like, future main character potentially. So, who knows? Maybe we'll elaborate more on that later. So, let's talk about the things that we liked.
There were a lot of things I liked, yeah.
There were a lot of things. I want to start with, like, as a fanfic girly, I did feel this felt nostalgic to me because it felt like a very polished version of, like, an Omegaverse fiction from,
Yeah.
like, Wattpad or AO3. And so I just love that we're getting these kinds of things, like, traditionally published in 2025 is when this came out, I think. That's very important to me. Or maybe it was 2026.
No, it was 2025.
Okay. I couldn't remember what month it came out. It was last
Mm.
October because she spoiled the date on
October
accident.
7th. Yeah,
Yeah.
she told us in February of 2025 that it was coming out in
Yeah.
October.
So I do
That's
love
great.
that we're to the point where these kinds of books are being published traditionally. I think that's hilarious and I love it. I do love a good, like, unexpected heat trope in an Omegaverse
Yeah.
story. So, like, you know, like when they don't know what's happening to them, and then that alpha is like, don't worry, I know exactly what's happening. I just love that dynamic. It's classic. But I don't like Cohen.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that like I never read like Omegaverse anything. Like I still just I don't read Omegaverse. Not that I don't like it, I just don't. I didn't know the heat was a thing. And and like when this
Like
is
at
so
all. Like at all.
like I know like dogs do that, but like I didn't know like that was like a thing in Omegaverse. And so
Oh
when they're like,
God.
"Oh, yeah, like she's going into heat." I was like,
Oh
"Okay.
no.
Yeah, for sure." Like what?
Oh.
And I was like, I was rocking with it. Like I was vibing with it, but I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. And so when you're like, "Oh, like you're in for a treat." I was like, "Is this the treat? Is it this?
That must have been so
Is it
jarring.
this thing?"
That must have been absolutely flabbergasting to
Yeah,
have.
I was like, the doctor's like, "Oh, baby girl, you're going into your heat." I was like, "You're what?"
That is so fucking
Oh,
funny because
okay.
I was just like under the impression that you that you had like read other things like this before. That
No.
is so funny. I love that.
Like I figured it out pretty quick, but I was just initially like, "All right,
Yeah.
this is a new experience."
So it is funny to me because like yes, that was like in my mind I was like this is hilarious. This is delightful because she thought she was dying and she actually was just going into heat and I just thought like that concept to me was like so funny. And I think that's what Allie was like, I'm going to write this book for this like concept alone where she thinks
Yeah.
she's dying and she's actually just going into heat. But then it turned out that it didn't need to be this long, actually.
Right. But I think what's even funnier about like she thought she was fucking dying, but it was actually just the heat, is that a man told her that. Like a man who probably should have known. Like apparently it's a common thing.
Because he
Like
was a
the
werewolf
female werewolves go through that.
physician.
Yeah. And he's like, "No, sorry, you're actually like you've got like a month at most. Like you should make
Yeah.
your arrangements like now." And some female doctor looked at her and was like, "Oh, girl, you're not dying. Like, what do you mean?"
Allie's coming in with like subtle jabs at like men being inferior.
It's like, yeah, a man would say that you're dying. And he'd probably help it progress along.
Yeah, he was like, "Ooh, nothing to be done." That is like such a great observation. And I know that she did that intentionally, like now that you pointed out,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I didn't even like think about that. I did think like as far again, we're putting this like in the frame of mind of like this is a traditionally published book by a very popular author. So for that reason, I have to say the smut was like to me delightful in the
Yeah.
sense that it was absolutely filthy because for those of you
Mhm.
who haven't read Omegaverse fiction before, like it's gross. It's freaky,
It's gross.
it's animalistic, but I say all of that with love in my heart. This is like crazy to me that it got published like through traditional
No,
means.
yeah.
I think
Because
that's
there's people
iconic.
who read Wattpad stories in their teens and young adulthood, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, this is gonna really reach a lot of people's hearts and minds that it should reach, and we're gonna
Yeah,
put it out there for them."
and it did. I think it's just like iconic. I can't believe it. And that's why I was so excited for you to read it because I thought you had all of the same context that I did.
I read a lot of Wattpad and stuff. Like I did, but like I just didn't read Omegaverse stuff. Like I somehow managed to miss all of that.
I did, except so whenever we did like our mini-sode on the history of Omegaverse fiction, I never read like the OG stuff where it was very queer and
Yeah.
it originated as like gay fiction specifically. And
Yeah.
that's not what like reached my desk. Like I was reading like like very straight heterosexual
Yeah. Like
like
alpha male, like
archetypes. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what this book, like, falls into
Yeah.
categorically. But I think a lot of people, like, they actually hate that because they're like, "No, the whole point of Omegaverse is to be queer and to, like, get rid of those type of dynamics." But, I can see
Allie
both
was a
sides.
coward for not including Imprag in this.
Yes, Serena should have been a boy,
Cowardly.
and I'll stand on that. Oh, one more thing about, like, the traditional, like, formula. So, I did think it was an interesting twist that, like, Cohen wasn't leaning into the mating bond because specifically that Pax or his Pax alphas are not allowed to, like, have mates and have children. And that became, like, a main obstacle because they did eventually, like, actually fall in love and wanna be together, which usually most of the ones that I've read that follow that, like, kind of cis het
Mhm.
normative, like, gender role, like, they are encouraging the alpha. They're like, "You need a mate, you need to
Yeah.
have children, you need to have heirs," like, whatever. So, it is different in that way, and I thought that was
I will say that is,
interesting.
like, the one thing I did like about Cohen is, like, that forbidden, like, thing. It's like he was, like, repressing his emotions and stuff, and then when he's finally just like, "Fuck it, like, I don't care anymore," I was like, "Alright! Like,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
"Let's
let's do
go!"
it!"
Yeah.
And for that brief moment in time, I did really like Cohen's character. My favorite part, actually, I think, was the Low and Misery and Anna cameos. I think that was great. I love I love Marcy. I love her so
Miracy.
much. She's so perfect and beautiful. And Lo is also perfect and beautiful, and so is Anna.
Love them. I also really liked seeing them, I wanted more. And one more thing that I think was really well written was the part where the cult member, who we later find out is named Job, comes to confront Serena and is like, "Eva, Eva, come with me. You're alive." And she's like, "Who the hell are you?" And, like, right before he gets caught, he just jumps off a cliff and kills himself. That was
Yeah,
so scary. And I was
it
actually
reminded
spooked.
me like, exactly, of, like, the scene and this is a spoiler for Midsommar if you still haven't seen it. Anyway, like, the old people who like, they just get there to the festival, and they're, like, celebrating the elderly, and like, "Oh, these cute old people are holding hands on the cliffside," and then they jump to their deaths.
So scary.
Like, that's exactly what this was.
Yes, I thought that was, like, crazy, and I loved it. I was scared. Yeah, well, that's the list of things that we liked, so we'll kinda jump into our slightly shorter list of things we didn't like. I do think we already talked about how the length was a problem
It's very long-winded, yeah.
because, again, there's just not much going on. Like, this could have been a novella, and I think it would've been better suited.
Yeah. Yeah, and I already talked about like getting to like the good part took a long time. And I think I touched on this too. Like I thought every character just felt like a little dull, like dumb. Like they're all a little dumb.
Yeah.
And like common sense like just flew itself out the window.
Especially when they were trying to, like, mastermind the cult.
Yeah.
Like, whenever they were trying to make plans, it was like, "Oh, well, why would you do that?" Like, of course that's not
It's
gonna work
like
out.
who's running this pack and how has it managed to stay afloat this long? Because what are we doing?
Who's driving this
What are
bus?
we doing?
Yeah, no, and I think Cohen was just so distracted by the fact that he had a mate and he couldn't do anything about it.
I guess.
He was
But I
struggling.
just felt like nobody knew what was going on. My other bone to pick, and it's really not that important. In the audiobook, the narrator did a really good job. And I'm pretty sure it's the same narrator that did Bride, which is why it pissed me off because her voice over Serena was great. She did a good job. When she did Misery's voice, she made her sound like such a bitch, like in the worst way, like a valley girl bitch. And like she knows what her voice sounds like because she did it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder if they thought like, maybe they gave her feedback that Serena's voice was too similar to the voice she did for Misery, so for this book.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's disappointing. That takes me out of a story when an audiobook is crazy with the
Yeah.
narration. So that's a valid
Like, when
criticism.
Misery started talking, I was like, "Who is that?
Who are
Who is
you?
that?"
Yeah, no, that would be annoying.
Same with Lo. Lo sounded like a fucking stupid himbo, like, also derogatory.
Oh, no. So she dumbed them both down. She was
Yeah, I
like,
was like, "Ew.
"Get out of here. This is not your story anymore."
Yeah, I'm gonna make you sound like some dumb bitches."
That's crazy. If that's how
I
Serena
hated
sees her
it.
friends, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Your only friend?
Your only friend and that's the way
Your
you wanna
only
portray
friend in
her?
this life?
We might be reading into it a little bit
Whatever.
much. Yeah, no, that's annoying though. Well, that was our list though. I mean, we already talked about a couple other things, but
Really minor stuff. For as much as we hated on other things, like, there wasn't a lot I hated.
yeah, I cannot just like sit here and hate on this book. Like our grievances are brief. So we'll kind of transition into a couple discussion questions that we have maybe kind of touched on already, but going to actually elaborate some more. So, just as a reminder for some background, like of where I'm coming from with this question, like Cohen, when he was 15, again, his mother got killed. He became alpha of his pack, had to kill the cult leader that organized her death and the cult leader's like lover, whatever, who was a victim of him, and then like carry their small child out of the house where they got murdered. So, like, that's a lot for a 15-year-old boy to go through. Some might say traumatizing. And that was just
Yeah.
like the norm for their pack. Like, they, as a pack, they went through that together of like all of this violence. And my question to you is, do you think you would survive as a werewolf in a pack like the Northwest Pack?
So I think it'll depend. Was like, am I me right now and I'm being introduced to it, or was I born into this?
You know what? Let's go both routes. Let's start with
Okay.
you are just like dropped in as you are right now.
N- Probably not.
Yeah, same.
Like, if I'm being honest, probably not. No, they'd probably kill me immediately. I would be telling everybody their secrets. I would call my mom so fast, like, it doesn't even, like, I'd be FaceTiming my older sister and be like, "Check this out. This is
Yeah, and they
bonkers."
would be like, "We
No,
have
I
no
would
choice but to kill her."
no, day 1, I would die. Also, I don't like, personally, I think it's great to read, but, like, I personally don't rock with, like, the whole, like, alpha, omega
Oh,
shit. Like,
yeah.
I just don't love it, and,
No,
like,
I would be
for me,
like
I don't love it.
I would be disobeying direct orders, like, they would kill me
Yeah,
too.
and, like, not even to be, like, a brat about it, but, like, just because I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like, I'm not
Sorry.
you want me to, like, check the
I'm not
perimeter
gonna.
in the woods at night?
No,
Sorry. Get someone
I
else to
don't
do it.
hike. I don't do hikes.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think I am appreciating the Pacific Northwest's grand beauty the way I should be, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think,
Um,
like, appreciating the beauty, but then also, like, living there 24/7 and being, like, rained on all the time would be horrible.
no, it's not for me. It's just not for me. No, they would kill me immediately. Now, if I were born into it, probably it'd be fine because I was used to it.
Yeah, you wouldn't know any better.
Like, any good cult, if you're born into it, like, people don't know they're in a cult, so,
Yeah.
like, that's how it's intended.
No, that's a great point because, like, honestly, I mean, you could argue that my childhood had some cult-like tendencies. I'm not gonna say I was in a cult, but, like, there were
But she
definitely I was not in an organized cult by any means,
Yeah, it
but
wasn't,
one
like,
could argue that my
organized.
father was a small cult leader, of just his children. Um, not to get into it.
Like, it could have gone bigger, and it didn't, and that's for the best,
It's for the
but
best that it didn't, but yeah, he was one of those guys for sure. Derogatory, obviously.
derogatory.
Yeah, so, like, I do think actually I would have, like, if I was born into it, I probably would have thrived. Like, I was really good
Yeah,
at being a little cult
I can
inductee.
adapt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then also just, like, growing up in organized religion, like, we have that experience.
and if it were a good enough cult now, like, I could probably be persuaded.
Mhm.
Like, it just truly depends on what you're selling.
Yeah, like, if you convince me that there's something genuinely in it for me, I might believe you.
I'd consider it.
That's
I'd
the thing,
consider it.
is people do tend to have, like, the mindset of, like, "No, there's no way I would buy into that," but, like, you absolutely could and you would.
I'm not naive enough to believe that I'm not naive enough to be inducted into a cult.
Exactly. Like, people are just easily manipulated by emotional and
Yeah.
social means. It's just how we function as human beings, and that's not a crime. There's nothing wrong with you.
No. Like, we are naturally drawn to persuasive people. Like, that's why they're put on this earth.
Yeah, and they are using their skills for evil to become cult
They
leaders
didn't have
because
to do that.
they could just be charismatic and, like, be fun at parties, but they chose not to, and
They
that's on
chose not
them.
to. They chose that for evil. Yeah, no, no. In this current day and age, no, I would not survive. My question, well, okay, backstory. Misery's brother, Owen, was like I feel like a pretty important part of Bride. He played a large part, and it kind of felt like she was going to continue that story on at the end. Because I mean, who was that girl that they swapped
Oh,
from one of the wolf packs, right?
this was a plot point in this story too because Serena thought it was Cohen's mate. What is her name?
Yeah, I'm remembering now. Okay. Well, my initial question, I'm going to throw this away because it makes no sense now. Is there going to be a third book where we get to see Owen's future and like the final alliance formed? Now, I did forget about that other collateral.
Or no, it's not. That's why I'm confused. It's not Serena that thinks she's Cohen's mate.
It's Misery thinks it's Lowe's mate.
Okay. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, it's been so long since I've read that. And it really has because I read Bride a long time ago.
Misery thought it was Lowe's mate. And like Lowe knew that but didn't like say otherwise.
Yes, I'm tracking now. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yes, are Owen and this Ware collateral that we can't remember her name going to get together, really solidify the alliance?
Probably not though, because they already have one wolf vampire alliance.
That's
They're
true.
twins though, so I don't know, maybe they're into the same thing. Who knows? But it would make more sense if it was like a vampire human.
And that's kind of where our minds were at first when we were thinking like Neely, but she's so young, it would have to
Yeah,
be so far in the future that it's like, would it make sense for that much time to pass before things actually took root?
right.
Huh.
Allie, we're reaching out to
Can you
you,
give us a hint,
as
Allie?
simple readers. Please just let me know. Allie, I'll come and see you again so you can spoil this for me. Like, just let me know where.
So I do think if she writes a third book, I do think it will heavily center around Owen though and wrapping up the things because he was like putting the vampires back
We
together.
left a lot of loose
Yeah, and we
strings.
just don't get to know about that. That doesn't fly.
Lot of loose strings.
So yes, and I do also want more of Neely and kind of how the impacts of
Yeah.
growing up as a human in that werewolf cult. I want to know, but this book just had so much going on. We couldn't really focus in on those things, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Mate. A lot going on in Mate.
A lot, but also not.
Also, but nothing. Yeah.
But overall, we enjoyed it. And you might have seen already, we did have a bit of a scheduling update for our Best Friends Book Club Explains minisodes. Both of those are now going to come out on April 6th. So after this episode is published, and we're just going to put them out on the same day. And our apologies, we just got a little bit busier than we originally thought, but those will be fun. Again, we're talking about the history of werewolves and the history of vampires.
And then for our next book discussion on April 27th, we are going to be covering Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And also, just to throw it out there, after Quicksilver, we're going to be reading Brimstone, which is the continuation of Quicksilver. So if you've already read Quicksilver, you may as well get started on Brimstone because they are kind of thick.
Yeah, that way you can just like join us as these come out for our discussion. That would be awesome. And then following our Quicksilver discussion, but prior to our Brimstone discussion, we are going to have a mini-sode on May 4th where we're finding some fanfic about Apothecary Diaries. and sharing those with each other.
And if you haven't watched Apothecary Diaries, we're going to talk about this a little bit in the Explains mini-sodes, but it is a very cute anime. It is stunning. The characters are perfection. You should watch it. It's incredible.
It's really good. I cannot wait for more to come out.
It's on Netflix and Crunchyroll.
I might actually read ahead in the light novels just because I want more of the story so bad. It's so good. And also, it's on Netflix. It's just that Netflix doesn't get the episodes as quickly as Crunchyroll. So,
Yeah.
if you do have Netflix, but you don't want to also pay for Crunchyroll, you can watch those there just a little bit later. So, that is our future for the next few weeks. So again, go ahead and start reading Quicksilver and Brimstone if you haven't already. We'll talk to you next time. And as always,
Let's get lit.